Good morning, everyone. My topic is on banking security, and bear with me if I'm not loud enough. Just let me know. I'll repeat myself because I'm a little under the weather. But I'm Janess Okane, if you guys already don't know. Okay, acts and regulations involving banking security. Pretty much the acts around banking security is just pretty much a protection for customers or people who online bank. And pretty much a lot of these acts came in place when technology started progressing and personal information online became available to hackers. So I mainly found the ones that all banks pretty much obliged by. And the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, they all kind of fall under that same category where it'll protect you if you have like unauthorized activity on your account and any fraud. So if you know of like these acts, it can protect you if you react to it within the time span. And I think it was like 60 to 90 days. You have to report any fraud or unaware activity that you're not involved with your bank. Why online banking? Pretty much technology is progressing, so you figure, of course, banking and keeping track of your account is going to progress as well. So it's a safe way, even though there are hackers. The paperback way and going into the branch, that's kind of old-timey. So banks have progressed into encrypting and doing finding safer ways to do it. Most banks are requiring you to online bank. I know my bank, like, it's a progression, and I found that 60 million Americans bank online, like, that was of it. How do online banks secure your information? These were like the steps that most of the banks do. Information encoding, and that's with the encryption. What we learn in class, kind of the same gist. Every bank that I've looked up, they pretty much do encryption with their online banking. The others follow with just personally selecting the get on there, and they have their own special method of, okay, you create your account and you pick a name, and they know that that's your special thing. Them password, pretty much the common things that most of you, if you online bank, you would know about. Okay, bank's use of information encoding with encryption. I found a lot of like breakdowns for people who don't know about encryption or maybe don't know the process of security as far as online banking. And we learned some encryption in class, so you guys probably can relate as far as it says encryption that they use is scrambled information for transmission back and forth between 2 points. So pretty much what Dr. Bob was talking about with you have your computer and then their system, and it's transferring back and forth with the encryption taking place. And this technology allows for secure transmittals on the internet, like I said, and encoding data using mathematical formulas. So just different ones convert their encryption using the mathematical formula of encryptions. And it's pretty effective because I think that it's easy for hackers when banks have different methods for their encryption. So it's like effective because if they don't have some other way of hacking you, like sending you something like an email where you put your account information or something personal, it's kind of hard for them to go in and figure out how to decrypt the system or the software that they set up. An example I found of the encryption for banks, I thought this was a pretty good example because prior to me coming in this class, I didn't know everything about the encryption. But It says a 128-bit encryption technology that is many times 40-bit technology. Comparing 128-bit security with a 40-bit security is like comparing a combination lock that requires 100 numbers to open a combination lock that only has 3 numbers to open it. So, did y'all kind of get that? A vision of how hard it actually is to really just do it. So banks, they have those acts and they have those different regulations to help. They know that they have a pretty top-notch security base with some of the encryptions that they use. Security layer, this is the SSL. I found this on every bank's site. It just is the layer, or their way of saying they're protecting you. And this picture I thought was a pretty good example because it shows like the first step with your computer and you requesting, well, you exchange from a public and a private. Like, we know that's authority. And it shows where here, this is your computer, you're the public key, and it goes to here, the second part. You encrypt your data using the public key, and over the internet, as you can see, like the little scrambling, how it shows the encryption, it's encrypted when it's being sent, and then to their system it's decrypted. So I'm not too sure somebody could probably come in and hack. I don't know if Bob may find one. What's her name? Kathy. Unless she's really good, I mean, I pretty much think you're good as far as being hacked, as long as you don't go in and just start giving out your information, because that's a pretty solid system to me. Personal encryption check. I thought this was cool because I was like, I don't really know when I'm using encryption on a website, just me personally. So I found when you look on the top of your browser, and even sometimes in your search browser, it'll have like a little lock. Y'all might have already seen that and known. But the HTTP or the HTTPS, it stands for encryption. Like, that means you're on a site that's encrypted. And the S at the end of the HTTPS is secured. So that's pretty much what it stands for. And on Wells Fargo, this is just a little example, they show it there, like when Bob was talking about like a CA, or you're on a site that's being protected, you can post links. And I said, and I looked up, all of them have like a little lock. And if you don't have a lock on your site, you're probably not even on a bank. You're probably in there trying to get your information. So that's to be aware of when you're using any online banking, because hackers only can get to you by giving information. Mobile banking. I added mobile banking to my research because it pretty much relates to online banking. All information transmitted between the mobile device are encrypted like regular online banking. So it pretty much is the same. Found on my next slide, you'll see it's some things are slightly different. But using your mobile device is no different than using your desktop, as I said. And more than 3 million people last year used mobile banking. So with the progression of smartphones, you can almost guarantee that that's going to be the next big hacking thing. They're going to find a way to kind of decrypt or hack into your mobile devices, because that's not one that they're strongly into. Like, I'm not saying like on your phone you have a little lock, but if you download an app, you should make sure that it has the right protections and read up on it before you just download anything, because that's like another way of them kind of getting your information. Mobile banking features. These are some added things that banks have been doing. The SMS, it's like the short message service. And if you guys don't already do it, it pretty much is where you send a message to your bank, or you have like a setup with your bank, and it's only with your phone now. If you didn't set it up with your bank and your bank doesn't know like your phone information, your specific telephone number, you can't use it. So that's like, to me, I think that one's probably more secure than you using your desktop, because you don't have to log in like a user and go through the internet. It's like your cell phone and the bank's setup system with you, and whatever you need as far as account balance and stuff like that, they have like different things you text. But if you like get a text message from a random person with like, oh, I'm Wells Fargo, or I'm this, it's not Wells Fargo, because they don't have it set up that way. It's only set up where if you use those few little key shortcuts to get your information or your account information, that's the only way. And then also the photo check deposit, where you take a picture of your check. Just be cautious of that too, because that kind of, to me, seems, you just take a picture of a check and just deposit it. You might want to watch how you do that too. Okay, hackers easy access. As I said in the last, it's easy for them to access your account if they're texting you, requesting personal information, just the obvious stuff that Wells Fargo or any other bank that you have wouldn't ask, because they already know it, because you set it up the first time, and that's pretty much it. So just be cautious of that. And if a bank, as far as the photo, sending checks, if they don't have like a limit, like if you don't have like, it's like $5,000 a day or something like that, it doesn't mention anything like that, 9 times out of 10 it's hacked. Because if they're allowing you to deposit these high amounts of money, you pretty much know that they're probably just trying to get your money. I thought that, let me see, did I skip one? Hold it. Okay. All right, the touch banking. I don't have a printout of that. Oh. I thought this was a cool research for, well, pulling something else out of the online banking. If you have an iPhone 5, 5S, and if you have, I'm not sure about Androids because I don't use Androids, but you can use like the touch banking, and you pretty much put your fingerprint on the touch access on your phone, and it'll open you to whatever you need with your banking. And the only company that does it is the Fiserv. And if you guys are interested in being in this field, they're hiring like a lot. Like every time I looked up something for research, it was all about hiring. So it's in Norcross, Georgia, so it's close to. But they're pretty much, that's a newer way of banking, and it's secure because it's your fingerprint, but they also use the encryption, and they use similar features like online banking. So it's something, if you guys are interested at all, to look into, especially if you're looking for jobs. The mobile encryption, many standards include some kind of link layer encryption. And link layer encryption is like the SSA, but it's just like the mobile way. And what I thought was interesting, and I didn't really find too on it, was the voice or data. It's saying that for the voice or data as it is transmitted over the wireless link between the phone and the base station. I'm guessing they're saying like it's like a voice encryption. I'm not sure exactly how to give a lot of information, but when I researched more into it, it has a lot of flaws as far as that way of encryption, the link layer encryption. So I guess you will have to research that if you were concerned as far as mobile encryptions with your banking. Also, many mobile carriers allow governments to track into your data, so that's kind of scary if you guys are quick to not look at the terms and conditions of apps. That was like something I thought was like, okay, I know I don't know. Like once the government taps into your data, like they do it after the decryption part. So whatever you're doing, that's not right. They can access it. And you can still use your own end-to-end encryption protection for your own connection. So you don't have to just depend on the bank's encryption and decryption as far as your protection. You can download apps that have some for your mobile devices, and how I believe you said something about it was a site where you go on Tor, yeah. It's kind of like the same thing with your mobile device. You can download some, and it'll probably make you aware of when the government is watching. Okay. Okay, and apps awareness. Because most apps don't use end-to-end encryption, which like you'll see like the HTTP on most connections, and it won't have the HTTPS. It'll show here on this picture just how it's untrusted and trusted. When you're using your cell phone, if you don't use the like your own encryption app or something to protect you, it'll show here in the picture how they could kind of access you. I understood it a little better yesterday, but this picture, if you want to get your own view of it, but I thought it was a good way to see how the network works as far as the cell phone versus like the laptop, as far as like the router and the access points of whatever you're trying to do. But just be aware of different apps and how to just make sure that you're being protected with the link layer encryption, and make sure it's like when you're dealing with your money, if you care about your money. And I've just listed these ways to help you if you guys do need help with keeping track of your money. Just be aware of a strong password. Always avoid clicking like through emails that are like, oh, okay, it's from my bank, and you just quick to just respond to it, and it's not your bank. Another one is always log out, especially if your bank doesn't have that automatic log out. Make sure if you're at any computer or coffee shop and you're not going to be there for a long time, you log out and just keep track of your accounts regularly. And that's all.